Hello and welcome to Overcoming Trauma. I am your Christian Trauma Recovery Strategist, Mel, and I am so glad you're here. Today, I am going to talk about DID, derealization, and depersonalization. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have completely different sides to their personalities? Dissociative Identity Disorder, once called multiple personality disorder, remains one of the most misunderstood mental health conditions today. Statistically, DID affects between 1.1% and 1.5% of the global population, roughly 80 to 120 million people, and is 9 times more likely in women than men. Consider the case of Sarah, who was misdiagnosed for years with anxiety before doctors recognized her distinct memory lapses and the different handwriting styles she displayed. Only then did her team realize she was living with DID. Some might argue that DID is simply misdiagnosed schizophrenia or anxiety, but research shows these conditions manifest with different core symptoms. DID specifically involves identity disruption and amnesia rather than persistent hallucinations or mood swings. With growing awareness, clinicians now use trauma-informed approaches to tailor therapy for each individual's unique experience, offering hope for more accurate diagnoses and effective treatment plans. What does it really mean when someone has multiple alters or experiences sudden memory loss? DID isn't one size fits all, and its manifestations can be startlingly diverse. DID encompasses subtypes, including dissociative amnesia, derealization, depersonalization, identity confusion, and identity alteration, each presenting its own set of challenges for those affected. Take James, for example. In stressful situations, he unconsciously switches to an alter who is left-handed, speaks with a different accent, and even needs glasses, while his main identity does not. His family noticed these striking changes and sought help after years of confusion. Skeptics often question whether these differences are real or just feigned, but clinical assessments, including brain imaging, demonstrate measurable physiological changes between alters. Understanding the nuances of each subtype empowers therapists and families to create safer environments that respect the complexity of each person's lived reality. Have you ever felt like you were watching your own life from the outside, or that the world around you suddenly seemed unreal? These experiences are more common than you might think. Research indicates that depersonalization and derealization affect about half of all people at some point, especially during periods of intense stress or trauma. A college student I worked with described drifting through her day as if everything were a dream. After ruling out physical causes, her therapist identified these episodes as depersonalization, offering relief and strategies for coping. Of course, some people dismiss these feelings as mere distractions or daydreaming, but when these states become chronic, they can seriously impact daily functioning and mental health. Increasing public awareness and early screening in schools or clinics could help more people recognize symptoms early and seek effective support for dissociative conditions. Could there be a spiritual side to mental health conditions like DID? Before you dismiss the idea, consider the thousands of documented cases presented by faith-based practitioners. Christian psychologist Rita Cabezas, for instance, reported in her book that spiritual oppression can masquerade as mental disorders, having conducted thousands of deliverances over the past 5 decades. Scott Bitcon shares stories of individuals whose persistent symptoms only improved after spiritual intervention. In one case, a woman who'd survived childhood trauma experienced profound healing when addressing both psychological and spiritual wounds. Skeptics may argue that blending spirituality with psychology could undermine evidence-based care, but many practitioners find that integrating both perspectives brings a holistic understanding of trauma and the healing journey. As new research and testimonies emerge, perhaps future treatment models will increasingly respect both scientific and spiritual frameworks, offering more personalized pathways toward wholeness.